This is the long-awaited Comic-Con video that I meant to do Monday, but I've just been really lazy, to be honest with you. So we're finally doing it today on Thursday. And yeah, I was gonna film at Comic-Con, but I kind of have this weird social anxiety where I don't really like filming in public. So I hope you guys understand that. Maybe if I bring a friend with me next time, hopefully they can film. But we'll see. But I didn't really film that much at Comic Con, but I do have some pictures that I will show throughout the video, some of the story times that I have. And I'm just gonna give you guys basically a rundown of Lexington Comic Con for this year. It was a lot of fun, dude. I'm telling you. This is probably my favorite year. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and this one is definitely my favorite year. This was also the first year that I cosplayed. On Saturday, I cosplayed as Matt Murdock with his lawyer outfit, Daredevil, and a lot of people really loved my cosplay. People were asking for pictures, and there was also one guy that I walked by. He saw me. He goes, "I've seen you walk around so many times. I thought you were actually Charlie Cox," which that was a really good compliment. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I guess a lot of people think I looked like Charlie Cox with the cosplay, so that I appreciate that. I already know at some point if Charlie Cox comes to Lexington for Comic Con, I have to wear it again. And if I do I am gonna do the photo op, obviously. But when I do the photo op, we got to do the pointing meme with this. You know how Spider-Man with the pointing meme, but it's Daredevil. We got to do that pointing meme if he wants to do it. That's cool. And I am gonna get him to sign something. I am getting a Daredevil Funko Pop of Matt Murdock. It's from No Way Home where he's catching the brick. That should be coming up pretty soon. I'm gonna ask him to sign that for sure. But yeah, if Charlie Cox ever comes to Lexington for Comic Con, that would be very exciting. I'd be so hyped for that. For my experience at Comic Con, I would usually go around 30 minutes before the con would open, so I would have time to get my badge and get in line to basically get in. And for the last 2 years, that hasn't been a problem. I would just go in, scan my QR code, and they would give me my badge. And I thought it would work like this time. As soon as I'm about to go in, I open the door. This guy comes out and he goes, "All right, the lobby's full. Everyone has to wait in line." And this other guy, he sees me. He notices I was about to go in, and he grabs me. He goes, "All right, I'm going to put you first in line for this part here." And he puts me first in line, and I look back. It's all the way down the block, man. Like, I didn't know when I was supposed to wait. I was hoping someone would be, like, in the area, like, letting people know when to go inside. But there was not anybody near me, so I just waited till it was 10 a.m. And a guy came in around that time. But what was cool, though, was I looked in the distance. I was looking on my left over, like, the center, and I noticed Jason Mewes was just standing there with a suitcase, just, like, talking to security, I guess. And so that was cool. I didn't expect to see Jason Mewes in the front of the area, but that was pretty cool to see, because that morning Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, their flights were delayed, and so they had to delay everything to that Sunday. And so it was a surprise to see Jason Mewes there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And eventually it got to 10 a.m. and I got in, got my badge, and I did something that was very smart. So I didn't get like the Saturday Sunday combo. So basically what I did was I got my Saturday ticket first, and then I think a few weeks later when I got paid, I got the Sunday one as well. When I got to the person that was scanning QR codes, I asked the guy, I was like, "Hey, I got one for Sunday as well. I was wondering if I could scan that too." He's like, "Oh yeah, sure, man." And so I got not only my Saturday one, but I got the Sunday one as well. So I didn't have to go through that crazy crap again on Sunday. I could just walk in, which thank God, because that was torture. That was probably my least favorite thing about the con, was having to wait in line. But of course, there was a baby behind me that was crying for like the 30 minutes, so that's why it was pretty much torture for me. But yeah, I'm just glad that was over with. And so the first thing that I did was I walked around the con, and I had a photo op at around 11 with Sam Raimi, so I decided to walk around until around 10:30 when the line would be open. And so it's 10:30, I get there, get in line, got my QR code ready, and yeah, I got to meet Sam Raimi. and he was actually way nicer than I thought he was gonna be. Because usually with photo ops, it's usually like a really quick moment where it's like 6 seconds. You say hi to whoever the person is, you take the picture and go. But Sam Raimi, he was so cool. Like he was asking me like my name and where I was from, and just normal small talk. But like usually like the people that I've like get photo ops with, they're just like, hey, how you doing? And that's pretty much it. But now Sam, he was actually cool. He was very genuine, and it was really nice getting to talk to him for a little bit. And it was just cool knowing that Sam Raimi was actually a really nice guy. And the next thing I did, I wasn't planning on doing this because I had a photo op with Kevin Smith around this time, so I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do it. But now that Kevin Smith was delayed to Sunday, I had time to do it. So I got on my phone after Sam Raimi's photo op and got Tom Kenny's photo op, the voice of SpongeBob. I had to do it. SpongeBob is literally my childhood. Him and Steve Burns, they were my childhood. I had to get a photo with Tom Kenny. And dude, he was super nice. I've heard so many good stories about him, and I knew what I was getting myself into, and he was just super nice. The person that was taking the photo, she told Tom to like zip up his like hoodie a little bit, and it was kind of awkward because I had my hand up to shake his hand, and he was doing that, and he stops and he goes, "Yeah, sorry, I'm trying not to look like a dork, but you look great, man." He noticed my Matt Murdock cosplay, and yeah, he was super cool, and I got the photo with Tom Kenny. I was a little bit starstruck by it because I don't know why. It's SpongeBob. Like, this man has entertained me through my childhood, and I finally got to meet him. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, he was super nice. So eventually I went back to the celebrity area to get in line to meet Yuri Lowenthal. Now, for those that don't know who Yuri Lowenthal is, he's the voice actor that voiced Spider-Man in the Spider-Man game from the PS4 from Insomniac. And he was one of the first guests that convinced me to go. I mean, I was going to go anyway, but I mean, Yuri Lowenthal, Spider-Man, one of my favorite games of all time, so I had to meet him, and I had this Funko Pop of his Spider-Man, and I knew I had to get him to sign it. Yeah, so he got the thwip and his signature there, and Spidey. Yeah, so yeah, Yuri was awesome. When I was in line, there was this guy I was talking to. He was really chill. He's probably the most chill person I got to talk to throughout the con. I think his name was Mike. Mike, if somehow you're watching this, I appreciate talking to you, man. You were really cool. It was awesome meeting you, man. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I eventually got to meet Yuri Lowenthal, and Yuri really enjoyed my Matt Murdock cosplay, and he was talking about how he saw my Funko Pop, and he was talking about how he was excited for everyone to play the new Spider-Man 2, which is coming out later in the fall, and I cannot wait for that game. It's probably my most anticipated game of all time, to be honest with you. I'm that hyped for it. But yeah, he was talking about it, and I asked him, I was like, is there anything like more emotional with this game than there is in the first game? And he said there's going to be a lot of moments in Spider-Man 2 that are going to make you cry. And that scares me, to be honest with you. Not in like a quality sense, but with the way the game is and where some of the elements that it's going to have, it worries me with like some of the characters, you know what I'm saying? And I know it's probably going to be a good story, but just like him saying the game's going to make you cry, it worries me a little bit because I do not want to bawl my eyes out with something if whatever happens in the game. We'll see. But yeah, his statement got me really excited, and he actually said that he played some of Spider-Man 2 that day. So he's played some of the game, and we still don't have footage. And with him saying that, it just got me so much more hyped for the game. So after meeting Yuri, I was pretty much done for Comic-Con that day. So I went to my hotel, checked in, and went to my hotel, and basically just chilled for the rest of the day. I actually thought about, there was a movie theater across the street from where I was staying, and I thought about going to see the new John Wick. And I almost planned on doing that, but I was getting kind of paranoid because I didn't want to walk by myself at night, especially at a place where I don't live. You know, I just kind of got paranoid about that. I probably would have been fine, but in a place like Lexington, where the crime rate is really bad, I didn't want to risk it. You know what I'm saying? So I basically just chilled in my hotel room, and there was a restaurant in the hotel that I had dinner, and it was very chill. Had a good time. It's finally Sunday, and Sunday was a day I was pretty much nervous about because it was a day that I got to meet Steve Burns from Blue's Clues. For those that don't know, Blue's Clues was my childhood, and Steve was my childhood. I've always wanted to meet Steve, and that morning when I knew today was that day, I got so nervous, man. I don't know why I was so nervous because I mean, it was freaking Steve. Steve was literally my childhood, and I couldn't believe this day was happening. And so when I got to the photo op, it was probably the longest wait. I don't really know what happened, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. But eventually, I did get to have a photo with Steve, and I wish it was a lot longer. I wish I talked to Steve more because I didn't really talk to him that much. We just basically said, "Hey, how you doing?" Took the photo and said thank you so much, and he smiled, and I walked, and I don't really care because I got to meet Steve. You know, I'm just very grateful that I got to meet Steve, even though it was for like 2 seconds. Hopefully, some other day he'll come to Lexington again, and I'll get his autograph and talk to him more. But yeah, it was just really awesome seeing Steve. That was probably the first one besides Stephen Amell's a few years back where I was legitimately starstruck. You could tell in the photo I was a little bit starstruck by it. And yeah, I mean, you could see why, because the dude was literally my childhood. Because I was watching Blue's Clues when I was 4. This was the guy. I feel like a lot of people were the same way. And I'm grateful to meet Steve. Like I said, Saturday, Kevin Smith, he was supposed to have everything on Saturday, but he was delayed for Sunday because his flight got canceled, so he had to come in at Sunday. But I give mad respect for Kevin Smith for still coming to Comic-Con because he could have just canceled, but nah, he wanted to come to Lexington, and he was super grateful for everyone that stuck around because like right before the photo op, everyone was in line. He came out of the curtain and was like, "Hey, you guys ready?" And everyone was freaking out. Like, you could tell how much he loves his fans. When it was my turn to get my photo with him, he had his hands up and he gave me a hug, and I did not expect that. And yeah, just Kevin Smith was way nicer than I thought he was going to be. He was super cool. I love Kevin Smith. I've always enjoyed Kevin Smith, and I've always wanted to meet him for a long time, and finally getting to meet him and him being so nice, it was so cool, and I was very happy to meet Kevin Smith. And Kevin Smith did have a Q&A after the con, and I did pay for that, and it was actually after the Comic-Con ended. So at Comic-Con, it's like, I think 4 hours on Sundays, so it ended at 4, but people that were there for the Kevin Smith panel, they got to stay for like an hour after the con was closed for the Q&A. And yeah, Kevin Smith was really cool. He brought up some really cool stories and stuff. He had this really funny Alan Rickman story that I thought was hilarious. But yeah, it was a good time. And yeah, just Kevin Smith is just a genuine guy. He really cares about his fans. And yeah, I'm very glad I got to meet him. So that's pretty much my Lexington Comic-Con 2023 experience. And it was a really good experience. I think I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I think this one is for sure my favorite experience, and I'm definitely going to go again next year. And I've had such a good time. And if you guys haven't been to Comic-Con, highly recommend going to Comic-Con if you're into comics or anything pop culture. Comic-Con is the place to be. I've always had a blast, and Lexington Comic-Con has always been good for me. And I haven't been to any other Comic-Cons. I think there's one in Cincinnati and Columbus. I haven't gone to those yet, but I've heard those are good. But from people that I've talked to, they've always said that Lexington Comic-Con is their favorite con because it's just so good. So yeah, if you're in the Kentucky area and want to get into Comic-Con, Lexington Comic-Con is the place to go. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go next year. And if the people from Comic-Con that orchestrate it, if you guys come across this video, thank you guys for a good Comic-Con. I've always had a blast, and I cannot wait for next year. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time.